Hello and welcome back to this week's Mental Cheat Code. I'm excited to dive into a different approach of this mental cheat code. It's kind of like a 3-for-1 with a little bonus thing on top of it. But this week's episode, we are going to take the keys to success for inspiring individuals and apply them to building a stronger mental performance and mental wellness with a tip for your mental performance playbook. I'm going to be diving into the mindset of Neshard Walker.
Anything outside of the 3 words I live by when I play it now is the first one is being patient. You got to understand the process before you go in it, because a lot of things that people do that I notice for coaches early on, they either put their expectations on that player that they didn't do, or it's like, well, they just let the player, like how we went through it, had to figure it out. So I wanted to make sure I had to stay patient and be ready for the process.
If you missed this episode, please just go back, take a listen, hear what he had to say. There is some life-changing philosophies that he kind of summed up into 3 powerful words, which bring us to our mental cheat code today. I wished I had a fun acronym, but the idea around this is coming up with your own philosophy of practice. We're going to use Neshards as an example because these 3 keywords are definitely things we can all apply to our mental performance playbook. But the other bonus thing I'm saying is, like, how could you create your own philosophy of practice that is true to you, that allows you to be successful day in and day out? So the 3 words are patience, understanding, and discipline. So the PUD mental cheat code didn't really work. So we're just going to go with these philosophy of practice for your mental cheat code. And we're going to dive in each pillar of philosophy at a time and then leave you with a way that you could kind of start enhancing your own. So let's start with pillar 1, patience, the art of waiting with purpose. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Patience, when we often think about it, we think of it being passive and you're being calm and you're just waiting and, you're not rushing and jumping in and impulsive, that we're being patient in that things that we're doing, our decision-making and our behavioral outputs and things that we're doing. But true patience is active. I'm going to say it again. True patience is active. You are waiting with purpose and perseverance. It is the art of seeking stillness. It is intentional. And you have heard me share that in so many different mental cheat codes about seeking stillness and finding mindfulness in this area. But true patience is action. And Neshard teaches us that patience isn't about sitting back. It's about staying present in the process. And he's weaving in this idea of being patient and still in the present moment that then can lead to the performance outcomes that you want to have. So when we're thinking about this and you're wondering, like, how can I be patient? How is that impacting my mental performance game in any way? Here's a quick exercise. Think about an area in your life or your performance settings that's where impatience did not serve you. Like, you were impatient and it got the best of you. Maybe this was a conversation with a teammate, or it was listening to a coach, but then you went off and did something impulsive on court and you actually didn't listen and weren't patient in the decision-making process. Maybe it was in your parenting and you reacted real quick and you weren't patient to listen to the things that your kids were saying before you kind of jumped to conclusions about things. We've been there. We've all done it. But now I want you to imagine approaching the same situation with curiosity, with trust in the process. Patience is like planting the seed, and it takes time and nurturing and consistency to see that seed bloom into something amazing. So relating this back to our performance domains, patience is showing up and doing the things with intentionality, with a mindfulness approach, to be in the present moment, to not rushing the process. I am at fault all the time of just wanting to rush the process to get the outcome. And I've really practiced over the years to slow down and to stay in the present moment. And when you're practicing patience in our performance domains, you are allowing growth to happen naturally without forcing the outcome. So here's your pro tip. When you feel impatient, take a deep breath and remind yourself of the bigger picture. And I want you to tell yourself, I am planting seeds for success. I'm going to sit in this stillness, and then I'm going to lead to the performance outcomes that I want to have. All right, let's jump into pillar 2. Pillar 2 is understanding, the power of perspective. So in this idea of understanding, it is twofold. It is understanding yourself, your actions, how you show up in a space, and it's understanding other people. And both have so much impact on our mental performance and our mental well-being. So, in this world full of noise and chaos and overstimulation and all the things that we have happening, Neshard really emphasizes that understanding is about listening, truly listening to yourself and to what others around you are doing and saying. It's about empathy and seeing challenges from multiple perspectives and learning from them. There's this art and empathetic engagement and curiosity in the culture that you're in. So, understanding is really saying, okay, how do I show up? What am I doing? How do I learn from this? How can I, respond differently next time? Oh, what are they bringing to the table? How are they impacted? What are the things that I'm doing that is making them better or not working out so well? And it really takes this dynamic into your learning. Fozzie Whitaker's statement about the L is for like lessons lost, not losing. And he's really saying, hey, there's this learning aspect when you can dive into the understanding. There's a learning nature. It's the growth mindset. And so it's so beautiful to say like, hey, let's just add this understanding component to my philosophy of performance. So I want you to think about a recent challenge or setback that you had. What story were you telling yourself? Was it true? Was that the reason things happened? Was that the reason why these outcomes were the way they were? Was that the reason why someone showed up or didn't show up or acted a certain way? And now I want you to shift gears. What would happen if you approached that with more compassion, with a desire to learn, to explore, and be curious in nature? Understanding isn't just about resolving conflicts or overcoming obstacles. It's about connection and connecting with a deeper meaning behind your experience. So here's your pro tip. I want you to start your morning with this reflection. After you've done your 5-minute mind, I'm all about reflective practice. I'm all about intentionality. So I want you to add this question into your daily journaling. What can I understand today? How can I approach challenges with empathy? This mindset shift will create an entire ripple effect in your mental wellness, and you will start to enhance your mental performance because you are curious, and curiosity will lead to taking challenges and ownership and growth. It is so exciting. It's a monumental change. So lead into the patience to understanding as we dive into pillar 3. So pillar 3 is discipline, the bridge between goals and reality. So discipline is kind of the glue that puts this all together because you have the patience and you have the understanding and now you have the action, the doing, being intentional, being disciplined in nature. And Neshard in his episode, he really reminds us that discipline isn't about being rigid or harsh or black or white in your thinking, but it is about showing up. And it's about showing up for yourself daily, even when it's hard. Discipline is a foundation of trust. And when I think about this, I love this idea about discipline being a foundation of trust. You trust yourself in the actions you're taking. You trust others for them to stay committed. So discipline is like, hey, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm going to do the actions. It's what I've always said. It's not just words on a wall, it's actions in the hall, right? It's the doing part. And being disciplined in nature is really kind of saying, okay, like I have to be intentional about what I want to do. And I got to do those things because those things are going to lead to the better outcome that I want to have. They're going to help me be successful. I'm going to be reliable to my teammates. I'm going to be reliable to those that rely on me. And I want to be disciplined. I want to kind of actually own in on the hardness. And we always talk about how things are hard. And I wish that it wasn't. I wish that the things that we're working on aren't going to be hard, but like, that's not life. Like things are hard. Obstacles happen. You're tired some days. Your body doesn't want to move. Things just don't feel right. But if we're disciplined in our routines, we know we can overcome those hard days and the next day can be better. I love when people ask me like, hey, give me something to work on every day. Like help me figure this out. Because they're disciplined in the art of growing and wanting to be better. And maybe that's where you start. Be curious about, hey, what can I do today that's going to make me better? What am I already doing? What routines am I already doing that have given me the discipline to show up and be committed and have the habits of success? So here's your action tip, your pro tip. Set one small, achievable goal each day. I always come back to the present moment. If you haven't noticed, it's kind of the cycle, like be present, be intentional, do your thing. The reason why, it's not that I don't want you to have your long-term vision, but you're not doing if you're thinking about what's going to happen in 6 months or in 2 weeks. You need to think about what you're doing today. What are you doing today that allows you to get to tomorrow? And that tomorrow will build on the next day. And eventually the success is just going to breed into this momentous wonderful motivational cycle, and you're going to have performance outcomes, and you're going to work through it. So as we look at Neshard's philosophy of practice, patience, understanding, and discipline, they're not just like an everyday cheat code. They build the foundation for mental performance and wellness. Patience calms your mind, understanding fosters connection and growth, and discipline turns your dreams into action. With this philosophy, he's given us so many tools that we can start adding into our mental performance playbook, but it's also something for you to think about. What are my core characteristics that are true to me that anybody would say, hey, they're about this, right? Your coach, your reflection in the mirror, what your parents might say, what you say to yourself, what you're so proud of, what you know you can rely on. Come up with your own philosophy of practice. Come up with your own philosophy to say, these are my pillars of success. These are the things that make me want to be successful, that I can rely on, that I know that will allow me to just go out and accomplish my goals and start working on that. So thanks for tuning into this mental cheat code. I can't wait for you to add it to your mental performance playbook, and I'll see you next time. I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.